South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this almost Friday, Thursday. We're just regathering ourselves after the big Super Bowl week. We come to you live and direct from the South Point studios here at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on the Las Vegas Strip, this fabulous strip in Las Vegas, Nevada. And we welcome you to the show. This is the studios, and this is the location where you can see us and listen to us at the South Point Studios at YouTube. Just go to YouTube, punch in South Point Studios. You'll see us and hear us. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We welcome you to the show today. Of course, our other outlets include our website streaming, our audio website, of course, the audio streaming on the websites, racedaylasvegas.com.vegas.world.global. Your iPhone, Android, you get the KSHP app, and you just put that on your device. I say sometimes phone, but it's really a device now, right? And you can listen to us on your iPhones or your Androids, and certainly anywhere you get your podcasting as well. And here in Las Vegas, our anchor radio stations here in Las Vegas are Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM. So we welcome, however, wherever, whenever you get us, to the Race Day show for this Thursday. Ramping it up for the weekend. Now we turn our attentions to the Kentucky Derby, which is about 11 weeks away now. And, of course, the Kentucky Derby prep races are starting to get bigger and bigger with the leaderboard points available in those races. For example, this weekend we have two races that will have Kentucky Derby points influences. That includes, of course, the big racing day out at the fairgrounds where the Risen Star, part of the Louisiana Derby Series, will hold 50 Kentucky Derby points. And at Sunland Park, the Sunland Derby will hold 20 Kentucky Derby points. By the way, in that race at Sunland Park, the Sunland Derby, trainer Phil D'Amato has three horses. I should say not three horses, but he has the favorites in both the Sunland Derby and the Sunland Oaks. He's sending horses there for those races. Of course, the Sunland Oaks doesn't have any points for the Kentucky Oaks, but still, all in all, hey, there was a vacancy on the van, so why not take a horse down there and go along with his Derby horse as well? The Risen Star, Steve Asmussen, Todd Pletcher have a couple of entries each in that race. And by the way, I could tell you that Risen Star field is really one of the most deep and competitive fields in Kentucky Derby prep races so far this season. We'll get into that a little bit later on with Jonathan Hardoon, that's for sure. And, of course, tomorrow, a half a world away at Meydan Racecourse in Dubai, there will be the UAE Oaks. The UAE Oaks will have 50 Kentucky Oaks leaderboard points for that race, trying to get some of the Europeans over here for the Kentucky Oaks. And, the Derby, of course, first Saturday in May. Big day of racing, big day around the country, really, because like everybody is a football fan on Super Bowl day, it seems like everybody becomes a horse racing fan on Kentucky Derby Day, that's for sure. But the Friday, the Kentucky Oaks Day of racing, has become very popular and very big. And of course, the Kentucky Oaks, always ladies first. And so the Kentucky Oaks will be on Friday before that Saturday, the first weekend in May. On today's show, we have Jonathan Hardoon standing by. We're going to go over some of the Derby horses and the leaderboard because don't forget, Pool 4 of the Kentucky Derby Future Book Pari-Mutuel Future Book wagering starts tomorrow, and it will go through Sunday. So you get a chance to watch the Risen Star on Saturday and form your opinions maybe on a horse that may be in the 40 positions for the Kentucky Derby Pari-Mutuel Future Book in that race, and you can make a decision then if you want to, that's for sure. A horse called Locked is the individual 10-1 favorite right now in the Future Book pool before they open up, obviously, the betting tomorrow. And, of course, that's the individual. But the big favorite, of course, most of the time in all of the pari-mutuel pools up until maybe the last one is All Others, which means there's 39 horses that have an individual spot in the Future Book pool. And then everybody else gets clumped into the All Others. And right now the All Others is at 2-1 favorite on the morning line of the Future Book before it gets started. So we'll wait and see about that as that moves through the weekend. I also want to remind you that Monday is President's Day, a holiday here for most places around the country. I know we don't get mail on President's Day. That's always a good deal, so you don't get any bills or a lot of those flyers in the mail. But in any case, there will be racing there will be some holiday racing at several tracks. We'll have that menu for you. We'll give you an update on what's going to be running that normally doesn't run on Mondays for the President's Day card. But we also know automatically that Santa Anita will be running on Monday a President's Day card. However, Golden Gate, which was scheduled to have a President's Day card on Monday, to go back and forth in the state of California between Santa Anita and Golden Gate for players, couldn't find enough horses. They're not going to run a President's Day Monday card at Golden Gate. Wait and see about that. As far as the weather is concerned, well, I can tell you right now here in Las Vegas, it's 51 degrees, which is a whole lot. It feels like summertime almost here because we're used to, getting up and rolling into the studio here right around the freezing mark. But right now it's 51 degrees out here in Las Vegas. We're going to get up to 63. So the span of temperatures from the morning till the top out, not that big, but it's going to be about 63 today. And it looks like this is the type of weather we'll have for the rest of the week here in Las Vegas. However, there are a few storm systems going on, starting in the northern part, the northern western part of the country. We'll wait and see how far down these systems come as far as making their way past Southern California and through here in Nevada. And, of course, on the East Coast, they had that snow that came and went, and they're waiting for a little bit more weather this weekend as far as that's concerned on the East Coast. So we'll wait and see how the weather plays into the racing conditions around the country as far as track conditions for today and through the weekend, that's for sure. All right, well, let's take a look at what happened yesterday. We had 3 selections from our handicappers. Jonathan Hardoon gave us a couple of selections, and Rich Eng gave us one. Jonathan Hardoon's first pick for us at Gulfstream Park was the 8th race on the card. That horse, Chloe's Joy, which was 7-2 on the morning line with Jose Ortiz, I should say, came in and won and paid $440. So he was bet down, but a winner is a winner. As we say, you can't take what they won't give. And so Chloe's Joy gets the victory for Jonathan in the 8th race yesterday at Gulfstream. As far as Jonathan, others picked, did not get there in the 5th race at Tampa. And Rich Ang's selection in the 8th race ran second. So he finished live horses. Our handicappers keep giving us, and that's all we want. On today's show, as I say, Jonathan Hardoon will be with us. John Lindo, of course, with us today because we have a special Thursday racing card at Santa Anita today. Yeah, this is the makeup card from last Friday when they canceled out due to the bad weather. So we start out the week today with a special Thursday card at Santa Anita. We end up the week in Southern California with a special Monday card at President's Day, giving us these days and times a very unusual 5-day run through Southern California racing at Santa Anita from today through Monday. So John Lindo will be along with us with that. Of course, Rich Ang will be with us as well. And we gave Jerry Jackowitz the morning off, so Jerry won't be with us, but he did leave us selections for you, so you'll get some selections from the Power page, that's for sure. All right, we're going to get started with this almost Thursday Race Day Las Vegas radio program, coming to you live and direct, as I say, from the South Point studios here in your gaming capital. Don't forget to subscribe on that YouTube when you get to watch us and listen to us, okay? We'll be right back. Don't go away.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Okay, back on race day from Las Vegas here at the South Point Studios, and all I can say is for a few quick notes on some news in racing. The New York Racing Association is going to form a committee to study artificial surfaces. I know Jonathan Hardoon is shaking his head no right now, but they said they announced yesterday they're going to form a committee of other prominent racing organizations as well to study the impact of various racing surfaces, injury rates, particularly focusing on artificial racing surfaces. So we'll have to wait and see about that, that's for sure. And the Withers winner, Uncle Heavy is stuck at the farm due to a herpesvirus quarantine. So this horse can't get out to continue his run for the Kentucky Derby and prep races. So he's still stuck on the farm there. We'll wait and see where he goes. And I got to tell you, one of the really neat racehorses in Southern California of all times, Brickyard Ride. The 7-year-old has finally been retired. They retired Brickyard Ride from racing at age 7. He was a blazingly fast California bred that won 8 stakes races at Santa Anita, including 3 graded stakes races. He has finally been retired at 7 years old. And we might as well just get started with the menu. No more. We're going to get started with the menu of racetracks available today in the Racebook. Simulcast centers and racetracks around the country. Reminding you, the first post times we broadcast on the show each and every day reflect that of the Pacific Time Zone because we're here in Las Vegas in the Pacific Time Zone, and these will be the first post times that roll out in our racebooks today. So if you're listening in the Pacific Time Zone, hey, these are your post times. If you're not, however, listening into many other different, time zones from around the world that we deliver the show to, well, you're going to have to adjust from the Pacific Time Zone to whatever you're in so you don't miss anything. Don't miss an opportunity of making a bet. We don't want you to do that. Okay, Miss Mom and Dad, just make sure that you have Pacific post times adjusted to wherever you're at. All right, here we go. We begin with Gulfstream Park. Gulfstream Park has their Rainbow Pick 6 jackpot standing at $120,177. They have a first post time of 9 races at Gulfstream today at 9:10. 9:10 first post at Gulfstream today. Then we go to Mahoning Valley Racecourse. Now, Mahoning Valley Racecourse has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $3,860. Their first post time for 8 races at Mahoning is set at 9:45. 9:45 at Mahoning today. The Fairgrounds, Nolans, you're getting ready for that big Saturday card at the Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds' first post time today is at 10:45. 9 races at the Fairgrounds and a 10:45 first post there. Good feels to today. All right, Turf Paradise is next. Talk about the weather around the country. I can tell you this, the temperatures, how about 73 degrees in Phoenix today? That's where Turf Paradise is at. By the way, your Florida racetracks, Miami 76. It's going to be just great racing there. And by the way, L.A. has got their temperatures today will reach 67 right there at Santa Anita. Turf Paradise today, first post time is 11:05. First 3 races will be quarter horse races. The first race is going to be a quarter horse stakes race at 300 yards for 3-year-olds. Then the thoroughbreds will kick in, races 4 through 11, and they have 3 thoroughbred stakes races as well as the quarter horse stakes race today. The 8th race will be the $60,000 Walter R. Kluwer Memorial at a mile for 4-year-olds and up. That sees a field of 8, and in that race, Redline is the 3-1 favorite there. Asiel Espinoza going over to ride. And then the 2 Arizona Breeders' Stakes, one for 3-year-old fillies at 6 furlongs, the other for colts and geldings at 6 furlongs, will be the 10th and 11th races on the card. 11 races overall at Turf Paradise today. And again, their first post time at Turf Paradise is set at 11:05. 11:05 Turf Paradise. Then we get the Sunland Park. They're getting ready for their big weekend there with the Sunland Derby and the Sunland Oaks as well. 9 races today at Sunland Park. First post time is at 11:25. 11:25. And then we have a racing card today at Santa Anita. We do. Oh, yeah. Santa Anita's first post time for 9 races set at 12:30. And this was basically the card that was scratched out last Friday when they canceled. So today they get to run those races. 9 races today at Santa Anita. First post time is at 12:30. 12:30 at Santa Anita today. And then we go to Turfway Park in Florence, Kentucky. Turfway Park has a Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $30,198. 9 races today at Turfway. First post time is 2:55, and yeah, they got plenty of horses in those races. Big fields at Turfway. By the way, they do run on that synthetic course there at Turfway. All right, Penn National is next. They've got 7 races today at Penn Nat, and a first post time there with a super high 5 jackpot carryover of $6,225 is set at 3 o'clock. Delta Downs will kick in with an 8-race card at 3:15. Charlestown, they have racing at Charlestown races today, Pick 6 jackpot carryover, $43,415. And that wraps up your Thursday racing menu. All right. Now let's go to Jonathan Hardoon standing by. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
Good. I'm kind of excited to see the Risen Star at Fairgrounds today. Take a look at it today, but the horses that are in it that are on the leaderboard and top-ranked horses on their way to the Kentucky Derby with about 11 weeks to go. And, of course, that race will be on Saturday. But I got to tell you, there's some, Track Phantom, one of the top horses right now on the leaderboard is going. You've got Honor Marie, who was, won the Kentucky Jockey Club as a 2-year-old going today. You got the Sierra Leone, a horse I know that you like, the Gunrunner Offspring, trained by Chad Brown, and quite a few others. I mean, it's not going to. We've got Catching Freedom. Your man Brad Cox has got Catching Freedom in there, and Real Men Violin, also finishing second in the Kentucky Jockey Club in his last start, so he'll be making his debut in stakes race as a 3-year-old, and Hall of Fame, another top runner there who just won a nice maiden special weight race at the fairgrounds for Steve Asmussen going in there. Looks like a darn good field.
Of all the Derby Point races they've had so far, this is by far the deepest field. I mean, you could possibly see the Derby winner in this field. Last week we were discussing, we said we're not going to see the Derby winner in this race or that race. But this race, Ralph, I think it's loaded. I think there's a lot of potential superstars in this race. And I think this is the most contentious of all the point races so far that we've seen.
Well, I know a horse that you're taking a strong look at, believe it or not, is a horse trained by Chad Brown. Now, Chad Brown is not, his MO is not getting horses to really gear up from 2 to 3-year-olds to make the Triple Crown. He's usually a guy that likes, the older horses, developing a little bit later on. Certainly turf horses, that's his forte.
Right.
But he's got this Sierra Leone that's, I guess, showing him that he has a lot of talent early in his career.
Well, this was a highly regarded young horse. They paid over $2 million for him. And in career start number 2, the race that he ran at Aqueduct was probably the best race run that day, even though he didn't win. No horse made up any ground. The track was a complete conveyor belt that day. This horse came from out of the clouds to just get beat. He actually took the lead, and Dornoch came back and got him because the inside was totally the place to be. This horse was totally against the track. The race that he ran that day is by far one of the best, at that point, 2-year-old races that you'll see. And he's really has the potential to be really a good one. He was supposed to be good. Like I said, they paid over $2 million for him. So, a lot of times these $2 million horses don't work out. This may be a case of where it really works out.
If they had coupled entries in this race, as far as the trainer entries are concerned, I think Steve Asmussen's horses would definitely be the favorite here. He's got Track Phantom, who is one of the leaders right now as far as the rankings on many of the different websites for horse racing. And he also has Hall of Fame, a horse who has a lot of potential as well.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Ralph, this race is loaded. You could make a case for a lot of horses. It's a terrific betting race. Whoever they decide to make the favorite, I would try to beat, because I think there's horses with a lot of potential here, and we haven't seen the best of them yet. And maybe Saturday, someone will take a giant step forward.
And of course, your man Brad Cox has his horse in there, and you're Catching Freedom. What about him?
He's fine. I mean, he's never done anything wrong. He's lightly raced, and you can never count Cox out because he doesn't send them to post unless they're ready for top performance.
Well, now, they also have the Rachel Alexandra that's on the same card for the 3-year-old fillies, and that holds, leaderboard points, 50 of them, as a matter of fact, just like the Risen Star for the Derby, 50 points for the Kentucky Oaks. And as you see, the leaderboard for the Kentucky Oaks right now, West Omaha, who is third right now on the leaderboard with 25 points, is in that race. And so is a horse called VV's Dream for Kenny McPeak that has 18 points there. So it's going to be a shakeup in the Kentucky Oaks leaderboard as far as the leaderboard points as well in the Rachel Alexandra. And that looks like a pretty darn good field, too. They've got 7 going in that race.
Yeah, it's a little short, only 7 horses. You would have hoped maybe to get a few more. Obviously, the race looks like a 2-horse race, VV's Dream in West Omaha. And again, short field. Cox has Tarif in there. He's got a couple other horses as well as Alpine Princess. So, he has 3 of the 7 horses in the race. Asmussen has a few. So it's going to be an interesting race. I gave a slight edge to VV's Dream, but again, let's see the odds when they come out, and let's see who the favorite is.
All right, and of course, we were talking about as the year began that Fierceness was the big horse because he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he won the Eclipse Award for the best 2-year-old, but he ran a banged-up clunker kind of in his 3-year-old debut. I understand that the Florida Derby, though, will be next for him. I guess he's going to pass up the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, it looks like they want to take a step back with him. Listen, he has 4 starts. He ran very well in 2 of them, and 2 of them not so well. The thing about him is, though, both the races that he ran very well in, he made an easy lead, and he didn't have to overcome any adversity. I don't know how it's going to be in a 20-horse field. If he doesn't get the lead, he could be in trouble. So everyone was handing the title to him, not so fast.
And of course, Timberlake, a horse that we forgot to mention there, also lining up for, I believe, the Rebel as well, right?
Yeah, for Brad Cox. So, don't worry about Cox. He will be well represented, I'm sure.
Well, now I take that back because he's not in the field, is he?
No, he's not running
No,
Saturday.
no,
No.
he's not in the field. He was supposed to go in the Rebel, but he had a little bit of a setback, but he'll be okay. So we got that race there. Of course, we got the Sunland Derby, which has 20 points to it. And that's kind of a nice starting point for some horses that are trying to edge into the big picture for sure. And who knows who's going to be running in the Oaks down there at Maidan tomorrow? But it's starting to get interesting, that's for sure, with these 3-year-olds. But as you said, and as I believe, right now the Rebel is by far the most competitive and deep field of Derby prospects as we move into getting into 10 weeks, 10 weeks plus.
10,
by the
11
time.
weeks
Yeah,
out, Ralph. We're
yeah.
getting closer.
And you're getting closer to jumping on a plane and getting out here because we'll have our usual Kentucky Derby seminar, that's for sure. And I'm sure that we'll have a special for the Kentucky Derby somewhere on this network that week as well. Well, we got a winner yesterday, Jonathan. What are you going to do for us today?
Well, we're going to look at a race at Gulfstream and a race at Santa Anita. Let's do Gulfstream first, and let's look at the 7th race today. And I like the number 1 horse in here, Stuck in Malibu. This is a 4-year-old filly from the Patrick B. and Cone barn. Junior Alvarado aboard to ride. She's listed at 4-1 on the morning line. She makes her 3rd start back off of a layoff. She has the advantage of breaking from the rail, going 1.70 miles on this Tapeta. Full field of 7. I like number 1, Stuck in Malibu, to win today's 7th race out at Gulfstream Park.
All right, about a complete continent away from Malibu, but the horse named Malibu, Stuck in Malibu, is going to win the 7th race today at Gulfstream by virtue of Jonathan Hardoon's prediction. So in the 7th race, number 1, Stuck in Malibu, Junior Alvarado aboard, Jonathan Hardoon's pick in the 7th race at Gulfstream. 4-1 on the morning line. Jonathan, your influence is starting to affect the tote board, buddy.
Well, I don't know if that's the case, but they seem to land on a lot of horses we give out.
Well, you guys, all our handicappers look for live horses that are positioned in races that can win, and that's what we're looking for. That's for sure. Got something at Santa Anita today?
Yeah, let's look at the 3rd race, a mile on the turf, and I like the number 7 horse in here, Anacaraya. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a 7 horse in the 3rd race today. A mare from the Ryan Hansen barn. I like the rider switch to Antonio Forso. I like the fact that this horse stretches out today. I think her best races are going long. She's listed at 6-1 on the morning line. I think she's going to get a good setup in here. I like number 7, Anacaraya, to win today's 3rd race out at Santa Anita.
Well, whatever way we want to pronounce it, we just want the 7 horse to win the 3rd race today at Santa Anita. 3rd race, the 7 with Mr. Fresu aboard. The 7 in the 3rd race is your selection at Santa Anita. I think it's Anna Correa. I don't know. Anyhow,
Yeah,
it's the
close
7.
enough.
The 7 horse in the 3rd race. That's the way we're going to look at it.
There
That's
you go.
for sure. Now you have how many sheets today?
2 sheets.
Okay, you got Santa Anita and Gulfstream, both a pick out of those 2
Correct.
tracks. So make sure you get Jonathan's selections. And I know, Jonathan, you're already starting to work on all those big races for Saturday. And I would imagine, are you going to have a fairground sheet for Saturday?
No, we'll just do the stakes on the radio show. I'm not putting them up. So if you want to hear the rundown, tune in on Saturday. We seem to span the globe and get all those stake races.
Yes, we better. That's for sure. People are interested on the road to the Kentucky Derby. That's for sure. All right. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. And we will, by the way, is the snow gone now?
Yeah, but it's freezing, Ralph. It's 25 degrees and it feels a lot colder.
Oh, my goodness. Well, stay warm, my man. That's for sure. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks, Ralph. Stay safe and be well.
You got it. And we'll be back, hopefully, with Rich Ang, who is hopefully standing by. Don't go away. We'll be right back on your almost Friday, Thursday Race Day Las Vegas show.
Born from the tragedy of 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation is committed to helping our nation's heroes and their families in their darkest hours. When a first responder or veteran doesn't return home and leaves behind a young family, Tunnel to Towers supports them. The foundation pays off their mortgages and lifts their financial burdens through their Gold Star Family Home Program and Fallen First Responder Home Program. Through their Smart Home Program, catastrophically injured veterans and first responders regain their independence with a mortgage-free home, specially adapted to meet their unique physical needs. Tunnel to Towers also provides housing assistance and services to our nation's homeless veterans through their Homeless Veteran Program. They are helping more than 2,000 in 2023 because no veteran should be living on the streets of the country they signed up to protect. Join Tunnel to Towers on its mission to do good and never forget 9/11 or the sacrifices made by our nation's heroes. Donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
Alrighty, back on Race Day Las Vegas, and now we're going to go out to Rich Eng standing by. And Richie, I guess we're now settling in and taking a look at the run to the Kentucky Derby, my man. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. And I just wanted to comment about that horse I gave out yesterday on the radio show. The one, Worlds on High. If people saw the race and bet like I did on a horse, you had an upset stomach because this horse was absolutely locked and loaded. And the kid, Kevin Gomez, this may be the last time I bet on him, Ralph, because he was locked and loaded on the horse, stayed inside, stuck behind a wall of horses, ended up second at 4-1. This horse was tons the best. So that may be my last Kevin Gomez bet for now.
The saying on a horse like that is all dressed up and no place to go. Yeah, he was well, man. He was ready. He was ready. I mean, if he could have found some place to run, all he had to do was drop his head. I don't think he even had to coax him that much. This horse was just ready to take off. But racing luck does come into play. That's for sure.
Yep.
Anyhow, Rich, now that we've got the Super Bowl behind us and now, of course, they all get into looking towards next year, et cetera. We do have another football league, though, coming up that is combining two of the spring football leagues that were separated a couple of years ago. I guess for survival, I guess these two are going to combine now. What do you think is going to be the reception of people watching spring football, even though these two leagues coming together might have a lot better product to give us this year?
I'm really optimistic about it because I know last year, Ralph, I did follow the XFL and I did bet it and actually made money. I mean, not serious money like the Super Bowl, but yeah, I made money. And then following the XFL season, they had the USFL season. They didn't overlap. But they were spring and summer football, and now the two leagues have combined. And I think the biggest thing as far as its impact on football is the fact that dozens and dozens of kids in both leagues got opportunities to go to training camp in the NFL. Quite a number of them actually made NFL rosters, and they were both good betting products. So you just got to do a little bit of homework, obviously, because it's almost like having a whole bunch of expansion teams where you have a lot of players thrown together. But, you had some seriously good experienced coaches and good assistant coaches. And so the quality of play was fine. So I fully expect the league is now called the UFL. I guess it's called United Football League. and has 8 teams. But I fully expect to take a look at it and throw a few bets in.
I got to tell you, some of the other leagues that have tried in the past were not accepted or embraced by the NFL, but it looks like they got the good housekeeping seal of approval from the NFL because they were running a lot of commercials during NFL playoff games, etc. For this new league, and I know there's a lot of people that we respect that's a part of that new league. So it might work, and obviously it's a good platform for a lot of players that are trying to get into the NFL.
Yeah, because every professional sport has minor leagues where players who quite are not quite ready for prime time, need a little more tune-up, and sometimes there's some veterans who fall between the cracks and are looking for a chance to extend their career, and they're willing to play in a minor league to show general managers out there that they still have the mojo to play. So I think the NFL should definitely support this league. I don't know whether they have a financial interest or not in the league or the franchises, but certainly from what we saw last year, a lot of the players got chances to suit up in the NFL and also made practice squads. And for example, I know the Bengals, when Joe Burrow went down, they signed the St. Louis Battlehawks quarterback A.J. McCarron to back up, their quarterback Jake Browning. And he was a former Bengal, from previous years. But that was just like one example of a player who got a second chance, and he's in the NFL now.
Yeah, a lot of professional leagues have what they call their farm teams, and maybe this is going to be their farm team as well. It used to be, I guess it still is. The NFL was always the college football was always considered their farm team, but things are changing, and this could be exciting. That's for sure. We'll wait and see. Because if it has any of the type of electricity that the NFL had week after week on the weekend, it'll go. That's for sure. Plenty of room for everybody, I guess. And
also, one more point I want to make too is
sure.
Both leagues actually experimented with different rules, and this allowed the NFL to actually observe from a distance different types of rule changes. And I believe some of those rule changes are going to make their way into the NFL. So that's another angle too. It's kind of like a petri dish that they can try new ideas, different ideas, and maybe adopt them for the NFL.
No question about that, and that is an important factor, I think, Richie, and as you know well, when you're taking a look at these games and maybe want to play them as you did in the NFL, you got to understand the rule changes and what the rules are, for scoring purposes, et cetera, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I read an article, or at least I saw the headline in the first paragraph, that the NFL is thinking about adopting a kickoff rule from the XFL. I'm not even 100% sure what the rule was, but the way the kickoffs are nowadays in the NFL, something like 80 or 90% of them are touchbacks.
Sure.
And while it's good for player safety, it doesn't really add much excitement to the game. But supposedly the XFL did something last year which they liked. So I'll to take a look at the article again to see exactly what the rule was.
And that point comes to play with the Super Bowl this year. I was seeing around some people that when it got to overtime, they were not really sure of the new tweaks in the overtime rules as far as the scoring, et cetera, for the Super Bowl and the playoffs. So that's certainly interesting. That's for sure. Hey, we got racing today at Santa Anita.
Yeah. I got a sheet. We got 5 days of racing, and I guess I'll be one of the observers to hopefully that they have enough horse population to make it to Monday with a racing card, because that's about what they're going to schedule about 45 races, Ralph, this week. And some of the fields have been a little tight, but hopefully they can make it through and have a good product for all of us to take a look at.
Well, it looks like a competitive card today. A lot of the races today have 7-horse fields, but they're competitive 7-horse. That's for sure. Nothing's laying over the field like a 1-5 or a 3-5 shot, at least on the morning line. So we'll wait and see. Want to remind everybody out there that although we talk a lot of sports with Richie, because he's kind of like our sports guy on this horse racing show, Richie does have a horse racing sheet every Southern California racing day at the Race Day Las Vegas. websites. You just go to our website, click on Richie's icon, and you'll get his selections for Santa Anita, especially for today, for example. Richie, where are we going?
Yeah, and also let me put something out there. I don't want to assume that some the new viewers watching on the South Point channel that are familiar with me, but I was the horse racing writer and handicapper for the Las Vegas Review Journal for 20 years before I retired. So I was in the local newspaper every day handicapping Del Mar, Hollywood Park, Santa Anita, and Los Alamitos. So I have a lot of experience in that regard.
And he still does it, folks. He's still handicapping those races, that's for sure. What do you got for us?
Let's go to race number 8, Ralph. This is more of what I call like a surest type, winner type, but I like the number 3, Matanzas Creek, who's turning back in distance from a mile. This horse has good tactical speed. Flavion Pratt rides, but at 9-5, I think this horse is in the right spot. It's probably going to be a single for me in the horizontal. So number 3, Matanzas Creek in the 8th.
All right, number 3, Matanzas Creek. That's in the 8th race. 9 races today on the card at Santa Anita. In the 8th race, you like the 3 horse, Matanzas Creek. And if you're using it, if you're playing pick 3s and pick 4s and pick 5, even the late pick 6, it's nice to get a singleton in a race so you can build on either side of it to get best chances to cash that bet. That's for sure. So 8th race, number 3 is your pick. And, of course, for the rest, just go to the racedaylasvegas.com websites. Thanks a lot, Rich.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Coming up next, John Lindo. As I say, we gave Jerry Jackowitz the day off, so John Lindo will be with us. But I will give you Jerry's picks as well on the final segment of this Almost Friday Thursday show. Don't go away.
South Point Casino is the perfect place to be. Our racebook is completely separate from the sportsbook and totally dedicated to the horse player. With 52 overhead TVs, free Wi-Fi, and cocktail service. Bring your tablet or smartphone and plug into the USB ports to look up your favorite handicapping website without draining your battery. Want to wager from your seat? No problem with our IPTs. Just sign up, make a deposit, and you're off to the races. Plus, you'll earn points for dining, hotel, movies, entertainment, and the spa just by using the club card when wagering. South Point Casino's Racebook has you covered.
The Race Day Las Vegas Show, the only exclusive daily local media racing information source in Las Vegas.
Okay, I want to remind everybody out there that we have some great shows on this South Point Studios YouTube network, and we start off the mornings Wednesday through Sunday, but you got Punchlines with Frank Nicotero. He's always got something up his sleeve there. You got to watch Frank. He's on Monday through Friday from noon to 1, and then Sports by the Book. How about 7 days a week, Monday to Friday from 3 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and Saturdays and Sundays when the activity is a lot. As far as sports is concerned, they follow us. They're on from 8:30 to 10 a.m. Great shows all, and you will benefit by watching and listening to those guys, that's for sure. Hey, let's go out to John Lindo standing by right now. John, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How you doing?
I'm doing fine, my man. I know that we have a racing card today at Santa Anita, but looking forward to the weekend with the big prep race there at the fairgrounds, the Rebel Stakes. Seems like to be a very deep field of horses. The first time that you have really a competitive field of horses that are on the leaderboard, not only for the rankings by handicappers, but also with the points getting as well. They can add another 50 points for the Rebel on Saturday. And did you take a glance at that race?
Just looked at the entries. It's easily the deepest Derby prep we have had so far, and I think part of the key, Ralph, is it's going 1 1/8 miles, so they get a little bit extra distance. I'm looking forward to seeing horses like Sierra Leone come in, and we'll see how far Track Phantom can carry his speed. Hall of Fame, the stablemate of Track Phantom. I tell you what, he ran on the undercard the day the Track Phantom won last time, and he was spectacular. So we'll see how he fits stepping up in class. And again, you got a lot of horses from a lot of different barns in here. It makes it a really interesting race at a distance that they'll tell us a little bit too. We're going to learn a lot in the Risen Star this weekend.
Well, the Daily Racing Form on Fridays always comes out with their top 20 horses or so uh, from their handicappers, and it seems like Fierceness, who was at the top for a while, has been bumped off a little bit. But I'm sure that they'll go ahead and try to regroup with Fierceness in the Florida Derby. But as far as Southern California is concerned, it seems kind of like, I don't know, we got a big vacant hole there because all the best 3-year-olds in Southern California are under the tutelage of Bob Baffert. And no matter what they do in Southern California, and I mean even winning the Santa Anita Derby, they just will not be allowed to run in the Kentucky Derby. It seems an injustice for the horse, the owner, and certainly the players. But that's the posture they have taken at Churchill Downs, and it doesn't look like they're going to change too soon.
Well, they won't for this year. We know that, and and it's not a national rule. This is a Churchill Downs CDI house rule. So there's one group of people that can change the decision, and that's Churchill Downs. And I guess we'll find out after this Derby and at the end of this Churchill meet if Bob Baffert will be allowed to run in 2025. He has had no violations, no infractions since he served the 90 days and then the house ban of 2 years, a couple of years ago. They extended it last year just because, and we'll see what Churchill does now. But, watching these horses pop up from the Bob Baffert barn, he's always got good 3-year-olds. We saw Maine one stretch out to a mile last weekend. I wonder if some of these horses might be considering going over maybe for the UAE Derby or something like that since they can't go to Kentucky.
Yeah, because the purse value at the UAE Derby is worth the jet ride over there, that's for sure. And that is part of course, the Dubai World Cup evening of racing at Meydan Racecourse. As a matter of fact, tomorrow they have the UAE Oaks for the 3-year-old fillies, and that'll hold 50 Kentucky Oaks leaderboard points there. And that would be a good spot to take a horse. But again, Bob Baffert, if he was to take one of his 3-year-old fillies there, would only be there to garner the money from that purse. He won't be allowed to take that 50 points and go into the Kentucky Oaks.
Right. Well, if he does decide to take a 3-year-old or two over to Meydan City for that the big night that they have out there, the World Cup night, he's got extra time to bring them back to the United States for the Preakness of the Black Eyed Susan or get ready for the Acorn at Belmont and Saratoga. There's a lot of moving parts into this, and you got to remember one of his big owners is Zaydon Racing, so he's from that part of the world.
Yeah, no question about that. It's a dynamic that many of us thought we'd never see, but as we move forward into the Kentucky Derby, because there's no right now, there's not really that buzz horse for the Kentucky Derby, like everybody's trying to take a shot at, etc. Fierceness had that small pedestal because he won the Eclipse Award and certainly the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, but that's been tarnished since his last start, and nobody's counting this horse out because this horse, by the way, when he won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, the race before his Breeders' Cup Juvenile race was a clunker too. So this horse might come back and reestablish himself as the leader, but right now he's not, and there's a lot of horses out there that are trying to vie for that position. I guess it makes for horse racing a lot more better for us as players, etc. But I'm not sure it's good for the general public and trying to embrace a horse that can go in the Kentucky Derby that they're all thinking could be a super horse to watch to draw the attention of those on the perimeter of horse racing.
Well, Ralph, we know as horse player, obviously has the ability. He's good enough to win the Kentucky Derby, no doubt. But as horse players, can you trust him? He's let the public down a couple of times. And again, like John Harduna said earlier, he hasn't shown the ability to overcome adversity. And how many horses get a perfect trip in the 20-horse Kentucky Derby? It just doesn't happen. So you better be able to, get yourself out of trouble and put yourself in the race and then fight if you're going to win that race. So he's got some, and he's only going to have one more prep now, I think, the Florida Derby to get there. So he's going to have to step forward in that next race. It's huge.
Turning our attention back to Southern California, and this is not about the Kentucky Derby horses that aren't going or are going or anything else of the such. I guess there's going to be a meeting this morning at Santa Anita with the California Horsepower Coalition talking about the deficit in the purses that have already been handed out in Southern California, something like over $2 million. overpayment to horsemen, etc., and how they're planning on handling that deficit, like the state of California has a deficit. We're wondering how that's going to handle. And I guess they're going to have representatives from most of the key organizations there today.
I think that coalition get together today is more of an industry, what we're doing for the industry, what it provides to the state as far as, jobs to the state, how much it means in monetary value. The purse overpayment, that's going to have a lot more to do with groups like the Third California, the racetrack itself, the people in the purses, and where we stand financially. So I think they're apples and oranges, but to kind of realize what industry means to California so we can try and get some legislation to help us move forward a little bit out here. It's been a rough go.
Yeah, John, we're having a little bit of technical problems with you. I understand that you're not using your usual setup to come to us today from your office, and so you are breaking up a little bit. So maybe we ought to get right into your selection for today at Santa Anita. But I got to ask you now. You're for the rest of the weekend, you'll be doing Santa Anita sheets through Monday, President's Day, correct? Did we lose John? Yeah, I guess we did.
Santa Anita through Monday. We'll do the Coast to Coast Pick 5 on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, so
did you give me a? Oh,
no, you were
okay.
breaking. You were breaking
as
up.
As far as play, Ralph, we'll go to race number 9 at Santa Anita.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got. This is.
Okay,
John,
have you got me?
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if we can get you again, John. Go ahead, John. Repeat yourself.
Try again. Does the internet, no Wi-Fi or anything else there? So I'm trying to do this today.
Sure, that's okay. Go ahead. Try to give us the pick again.
9th race at Santa Anita, number 1, Autoline. Really improved going out to the 9 furlong distance. He gets that same distance today. Not a lot of pace in here. He'll have to work out a trip, but from the rail, he'll save all the ground. 5-1 on the program. Number 1, Autoline, race number 9, Santa Anita.
9th race and 9th and final today at Santa Anita on the special Thursday card. John Lindo likes the 1 Autoline, the 1 in the 9th. Don't forget, folks, the Lindo Report that covers all the races every Southern California racing day, and sometimes specialized racetracks on big days as well, or when Santa Anita is off. The Lindo Report, whatever track he's doing, and certainly in Southern California all the time when Southern California is on. But the Lindo Report is available only in one place in Las Vegas, Nevada, and it's right here at the South Point in the racebook, free of charge. Now, John Lindo, of course, goes with the Lindo Report, goes over selections and all the races on the day that and the track that he has the Lindo Report on. He suggests a late pick 4 on that sheet, and he has a lot of goody information at the bottom of that sheet as well. And he for the Coast to Coast Pick 5 at Gulfstream and Santa Anita, he will have the Coast to Coast Pick 5 on the sheet as well this weekend. Now, John, can you hear me? Are we still connected with you? Okay. You there, John?
Yeah, I've got you fine.
Okay, as long as we seem
yes,
to.
I am.
As long as we're okay right now, as far as the wins or raid or whatever it is, let's update the jockey trainer standings if we can.
Well, as far as the jocks go, tie for the leaderboard. Juan Hernandez, Flavian Prat, 27 winners. Antonio Frieser's in third with 20. As far as the trainers, Mark Glatz, the leading trader, he's got 15 winners. Phil D'Amato with 14, and Doug O'Neill with 13, and then you have Bob Baffert with 12. So they're all bunched as far as the trainers. And Ralph, I couldn't believe it, but the percentage of favorites went up last week. We're now at 45% favorites for the meet.
Isn't that amazing? You cut out on some of the other things, but we heard that perfectly clear. 45%? 45% for
45% for the meet.
Wow. Well, all things they say equal out. So we're expecting some good-priced winners as the races move through the next month or so. That's for sure at Santa Anita. A real quick update on the training track. Oh.
It's supposed to be done now at the end of February. It was supposed to be done middle of January, had delays, had the rain, had some construction delays. Hopefully done end of this
Okay, John, we are losing you again, so we'll just sign off with you and thank you for your attempts at trying to get to us today. But again, John's Lendl report for today at San Anita, available right here at South Point, free of charge. His pick in the 9th race was the one Auto Line. And as far as the training track is concerned, they say now it should be done by the end of the month. Okay, we are wrapping up this Almost Friday Race Day Las Vegas radio program. Next time we'll see you, it will be Friday. In the meantime, hey, have a great race day, everybody.